Hey TCC Kids, do you know what the word mercy means? Mercy is when we don't get something that we deserve. Let me give you an example. So when I was a kid and I was in school, one time I had a huge assignment due. It was a really important project and I completely forgot to do it. So the day came to turn it in and I didn't have anything to hand in. So I deserved to get a 0 on that project, right? But my teacher had mercy on me and she allowed me to turn my project in late. In our story today, we're going to see how David showed Saul mercy. Let's check it out in our Gospel Project video.
David was hiding in the wilderness. He had served King Saul and won many battles. But now, Saul was jealous of David and wanted to kill him. Saul took 3,000 men and went looking for David. David and his men were hiding in the back of a cave when Saul happened to pass by. Saul decided to go inside. David's men saw Saul and said, "Look, God said he would hand your enemy over to you. This is the day. You can do whatever you want to him." David got close to Saul and secretly cut off the corner of Saul's robe. Saul didn't realize that David was there. David felt bothered about what he had done, and he told his men, "I won't fight the king. God chose him." So David did not let his men fight against Saul. Then Saul left the cave and went on his way. David left the cave and called to Saul, "My lord the king." Saul turned around and David knelt low before him. "Why do you believe people who say I'm trying to hurt you?" David asked. "See, God handed you over to me today in the cave. I had a chance to kill you, but I showed mercy." David showed Saul the corner of the robe that he had cut. "I have done nothing against you," David said. "God might punish you, but I will never harm you. Let God decide who is right and who is wrong. May he protect me from you." When Saul heard David's words, he cried. "You are more righteous than I," Saul said, "because you have done what is good to me, though I have done what is evil to you. Most people would kill an enemy, but you have let me go. May God reward you for your kindness." Saul realized God was with David, and he knew David would be the king of Israel. "Promise me you won't kill my family," Saul said. So David promised. Then Saul went home, and David and his men returned to their hiding place. David showed mercy to Saul, his enemy, because David trusted God's plan. Jesus also trusted his Father's plan. He died on the cross so his enemies could experience God's mercy and live forever as part of God's family.
Hey kids, so I have an experiment here that I want to show you, and you can even try it at home. In this pie pan, I have about 1 cup of milk and a bunch of dots of food coloring. And then on this Q-tip, I have soaked the end with dish soap. We're gonna stick this Q-tip into the food coloring and see what happens. Okay, ready? Whoa! Oh my goodness, did you see all those colors go in all different directions? That kind of reminds me of our story today, where we see that God's plan for David at times was messy or unpredictable, but David never went before God because he trusted in him. And we see how Saul, even though he hated David, David showed him mercy because David trusted that God would keep his promises. In a similar way, we can show people mercy and we can trust in God's plan for us. Let's finish our time in prayer. God, we just thank you for the gift that we know that if we trust in you, you will show mercy to those who love you. Amen.